Hello, guys. This is a podcast with Shashank, who cleared UPSC Civil Services examination not just once, two times. Means two times rank holder. So we have a lot of experience to share in this podcast, from prelims to mains to his optional is sociology, and he's part of our sociology mentorship program, the mains companion program. And then he is someone who cleared prelims three times, so that experience. So everything we will be discussing in this video. So it will be a value loaded session so that you get a lot of information from this. And before we begin this session, I want you to think about this for a moment. How many people you know that cleared UPSC exam at least once? Very few. So what about people who cleared exam two times? That's ultimate mastery of the exam. Then only you can do it, right? So here Shashank have cleared this exam in his third attempt, after not clearing prelims in the first attempt to clearing prelims in the second attempt but not making into the final list. And in the third attempt he cleared. He entered the service and faced a setback again in his fourth attempt when he repeated, and then finally in his fifth attempt he cleared it again, right? So that's what I mean by mastery. So if you are a master of that examination, then only given any scenario you will crack it. So what you can understand from this podcast, that's something which I always discuss also. You're not preparing for prelims or mains separately. If that's the case, it is very difficult. You may clear prelims but not mains. If you prepare for mains, you may not clear prelims, right? And interviews also there, and optional is also there. So you're preparing for the exam like together, entire exam you need to prepare together. So this is what the change that we added to his preparation, because when he started, he had that lack of complete understanding of the exam, and that actually costed him in the first two attempt, and the preparation was not aligning across the stages. So we made it very clear, and then everything have changed. And in his journey, especially in sociology, we were having a lot of discussions, a lot of evaluations, a lot of test series, and the classes, mentorship, and everywhere he was part of it. And he learned how to interlink paper one and paper two. All those will be discussed. In fact, rather than he learned, I would like to tell from his perspective, you will understand how to score very good in sociology in this podcast, and how he applied different sociological perspective in his answers, and how he wrote the sociological answers in a proper way. And all those will be discussed in this video. So one thing that I want to tell you is, it's not about writing more. It's about writing with that depth which is required in the examination, that perspective which is required, and the clarity which you show from your side, right? So, and one powerful takeaway from his journey is actually, hard work is of course non-negotiable, but direction, that decides the result. Because you work hard no matter what. If your direction is not correct, you want to reach here, but if you are facing the other side, your direction is wrong, no matter how long you take, no matter how more you work, right, it is not going to reach the destination. But if the direction is correct, maybe it takes some more time if you are slow, but if you are fast, it may take faster also. So ultimately you will reach the destination. So direction is more important. That's where we also helped him through the mentorship, through the companion program. So this video is very important for those aspirants who want to understand the entire exam at a deeper level, because I'm talking to someone who is a master of this exam, who cleared it twice. And also, if you are seriously preparing and you're lacking that direction, very important, because direction is very important, right? Or if you want to move your preparation to that mastery level, then again this is very important. So guys, I always tell this, UPSC is not just about clearing the exam, it's about understanding how the exam actually work. And if you understand, then you will be able to clear this. So watch this conversation very carefully. I can tell you that you're not wasting time. You'll get immense value from this, and this might completely change your preparation strategy also. So let's get started without wasting time. Hello, Shashank. How are you? All good?
Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm fine, sir.
So, how do you feel now?
Sir, I feel immensely grateful and elated to have cleared this UPSC Civil Services Examination 2025 and secured AIR 433. And Civil 360 played a pivotal role in that process, sir.
Shashank, can you briefly tell us about your background, like where are you from and your education, and where are you working now, so that it will be helpful for the audience to connect?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm basically a computer science graduate from IIT Indore, and I worked as a software engineer for 2 years. Post that, I started my civil services preparation from my hometown itself, and it is in Gwalior, MP. I belong to Gwalior, MP. And thereafter, I have given total 5 attempts in civil services, UPSC civil services examination. I got selected in third attempt itself in IRS IT. I was allotted that time, and this was my fifth attempt where I have secured AIR 433. So it has been a long journey of 5 to 6 years almost. and my optional is sociology.
Yeah, Shashank, it's been quite a long journey, and in between you cracked this exam twice, in third attempt and in fifth attempt also. But before third attempt, two attempts, what happened and what changed in the third attempt, and then again what happened in the fourth attempt, and then what changed in the fifth attempt? Can you discuss that if you don't mind?
Yes, sir. So basically, when I started the journey, basically I was very much unaware about the complete syllabus. So I just set in the first attempt, I just set in the prelims, hoping that I would clear. But then came back the reality that you have to be prepared for prelims. So then I worked hard. 1 year took the second attempt. I cleared prelims, but then once again another setback I faced because I didn't prepare for mains. So that is where I want to pitch in and tell the students that you have to prepare for the entire exam. You are not preparing for prelims, you are not preparing for mains, you are preparing for the entire prelims plus mains. Only then you should enter the cycle. So that mistake I made. Then second attempt was gone, and the third attempt I corrected all my mistakes, and I prepared for prelims, means interview. And all this preparation I had done just before entering the third cycle itself, and that is where it helped me. I cleared the exam in third attempt itself. Now, when we get into service after the third attempt, there was some kind of a lackadaisical attitude from our part only. We become complacent and we don't prepare, and then we end up. So I ended up not clearing prelims in the fourth attempt. And the fifth attempt, once again, I attempted the examination and I've secured AIR 433, sir.
So it's like a roller coaster. First attempt you couldn't clear prelims, then you cleared prelims but not fully, and in the third attempt you cleared it completely. Fourth again you couldn't clear prelims, and fifth again
Sir,
you cleared the complete exam. So
sir.
what motivated you to stay such in the long cycle of this journey?
So basically, my family has several civil servants already. That is what was one big motivating factor. Second motivating factor was I always tried to take an attempt, not on the basis of just taking an attempt, but focusing on what can I improve in the next attempt. If at all I have something to improve in my answer writing or maybe prelims, then only I will take this next attempt. That is what my strategy was entirely. If at all some improvables are there, some deliverables are there from my end that I can improve, and on that basis I would take a decision, and hence I continued for 5 attempts together because I wanted to give my best potential in the examination. So I think these two motivations were there to constantly improve, and of course the family background was there. So.
Yeah, Shashank, it's been quite a long journey, and you have very good experience also in this exam now. You cracked this exam twice, and many aspirants struggle with a basic question: where do I start with? So, what is your opinion? Where should someone start with if they want to prepare for this exam?
I would suggest, sir, first of all, the aspirant should know about the exam fully. What does the exam entail? What kind of services are there? What kind of syllabus that is does it entail? What kind of the kind of hard work you have to put in? You have to be prepared for that. That is the first thing, because that comes as a shock when you enter the process. You realize that there's so much of syllabus. We didn't even know that this was the depth that was required, because there's a lot of things going on online sources we don't know, and people misguide the aspirants. So that is where I would to suggest to take a reality check first of all whether you are ready to do it. Then secondly, sir, start from the basics. You have to first know what are the basic textbooks, basic material for each of the subjects that are there in the syllabus, be it GS, be it optional, be it essay. Then third point would be the selecting the correct optional based on your choice, based on your interest, not based on how much marks it is fetching in recent years. That should not be the criteria. And then you should also, fourthly, you should also have a good mentor. Like I had civil 360 in my journey. We should have a good mentor to guide all throughout, because you will need guidance. Otherwise, it will become very isolated process. So that would be the starting. So.
So again, it's a long journey. So what is your daily routine, right? How you balance your prelims, mains preparation, and you're a working professional also, especially in the fifth attempt. So how did you balance your preparation? What is your daily routine?
So, sir, first 3 attempts I was not working. So, first 3 attempts, what I dedicated my entire day for studying only. So, you have to basically, I myself cut off from the entire social aspect of my life, be it mobile. That time, mobile was also not very much prevalent. Not Instagram and all were not very much prevalent, thankfully. So, those days, and even the examination cycle for me coincided with the COVID period also. So we were stuck in our homes only, and that is where I believe that the social aspect you have to cut off. That may be different for every aspirant. For me, it worked out. And secondly, I would say that you need to be motivated throughout the process, because there will be failures at every stage, maybe prelims, maybe mains. You need to keep yourself motivated to find that source of motivation. Like for me, it was my family background, it was my parents who motivated me constantly. You need some, for some it may be their gurus, maybe a friends. So that is where I think should be. And then after the third attempt onwards, I joined the service, I joined the training and the service. So basically that was a real challenging part. When you enter, when you are in a job, uh, you in a service, you have to commit a certain number of hours there itself. You can't do injustice to that service. 12 hours you have to give to that service. So the remaining part you have to balance very much. In that, once again, your family and your friends pitch in. They help you create time for yourself, for your studies, and obviously the weekends are very much important. So once again, that social aspect you have to keep it aside for a time. You're not leaving that, but you're keeping aside for a time when you are preparing for the examination. But once again, I would like to tell all the aspirants that the examination and the services themselves are very much rewarding. It's a very rewarding and satisfying career being in the service right now. I would definitely endorse to the hard work that we put in definitely pays off later on.
Okay, yeah. So you have secured rank twice, and it's a long journey also. So, what are the three, four resources that you are always relying upon throughout the preparation? You keep revising the same resources and most rewarding resources, according to your opinion.
So, sir, I would take this question subject wise actually. For GS, I would say that the NCRTs are very much important, especially the history NCRTs. I'm talking about 11th and 12th only. History NCRTs, the geography NCRTs, these are very much important. From geography and NCRTs, you would see direct questions in prelims. Then for the other subjects, I would say polity, Lakshmikant, I revised n number of times. I don't know how many, maybe 50, 60, 70, more than 70 maybe. Because every time you have to go through same things. And the surprising aspect is that UPSC asks from that book only. And you have to be very cautious while you're reading that book. Carefully reading that book is very much important. So I think I can recall these resources, NCRTs and Polity by Lakshmikant, few economic resources, economic NCRTs, economy NCRTs, microeconomics may be there, macro and microeconomics that may be there. So I think these resources were the constant. Otherwise, resources will vary based on the preference of a person. But NCRTs and were a constant part of the process.
Again, Shashank, regarding prelims, you cracked prelims thrice, you cracked the rank twice, and prelims thrice. So many students struggle with prelims. What's your prelim strategy? And you bounce back after the fourth prelims also.
Yes, sir. So, sir, in prelims, what I have seen is exam has become more or less unpredictable in recent years, and and accordingly the toughness level is also increased. Uh, Prelims is the elimination stage now, and I would like to suggest people to focus both on GS as well as CSAT papers, because I myself flunked prelims once in the first my first attempt due to CSAT only, not because of GS, but due to CSAT. I flunked that. So CSAT is very much important, especially for people from arts background. I myself from engineering background, but still I have CSAT, so that speaks volumes. And then I would say for the GS paper, you need to practice and practice and practice. That is the only solution to make yourself attuned to be able to guess the right answer in the examination. Because in the examination, you will not see questions that are known to you, but your ability to give an educated guess that will help you to get across the right answer. And that is, I think, that is where I have worked. Also, I would suggest that attempt maximum number of questions as much as you can, and that attempt maximization will come only after educated reading, revision, and practice.
Okay. Shashank, you cracked this exam even when you are working full time also. So, what's your advice to the working professional? How they should shape their preparation? How they use their time for this preparation also? Because many working professional also aspiring, and because of their situation, they have to work also. So, what is your advice to them?
Sir. So, for working professionals, sir, I would suggest that start your day early and end your day in time. So, for example, for me, my day started at 6 a.m. and I ended my day around 10:30 to 11. That was a constant routine. Take 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Also, for working professional, the commute time can be utilized. I utilize my commute time thoroughly. Each and every second of my commute time was utilized in reading newspaper. Newspaper reading is a must. Even in my fifth attempt, I did newspaper reading thoroughly. That commute time was utilized in that. In the office, I would suggest those who are working right now to make sure that you take an assignment that is light on a lighter side, so that you will be able to give time for your preparation. So that would actually help. Sometimes companies give projects that are on a lighter side, require lesser commitment. That would help. Sometimes you may take leaves, official leaves from the work place. So that also could help. So all these small things, they accumulate and give cumulative results and examination, that I feel. For people who are already in service, maybe who are already in government sector, they can have a greater leverage in the number of leaves they can take. So that also can be utilized. I utilize a 1 month EL period for us. So I think that could be done for working professionals.
Yeah, Shashank, you cracked this exam twice, you got ranked twice. So ultimately, mains is deciding factor when it comes to mains, when it comes to this exam, right? The rank. So what was your main strategy?
Sure. So, sir, means is a very has a very vast syllabus actually, and the approach for means is very different from prelims. It is very difficult to encapsulate a strategy in such a short time, but I would like to say that means is all about answer writing. Every subject has to have a separate answer writing practice. You can't say that I have done GS1 practice, so GS2 will be done automatically. Every subject, every paper has a different flavor of writing answers, and you have to get used to it by practicing. Then writing the answer, completing the paper in those limited 3 hours, and within that 7 to 9 minutes window is very difficult in the real examination. So you have to practice on that, and you have to complete the paper at all costs. Otherwise, you will not get marks in mains. That is the key idea behind mains. Also, for the optional subject, the game is totally different from the GS. So that I would like to say that optional strategy should be entirely different of answer writing. And of course, the sources used for mains are very standard. You can find it almost everywhere, but you have to do constant revision and answer writing practice. That's all.
Now coming to optional, that's one of the most important decision that the aspirants have to make during your preparation. So why did you choose sociology as the optional? Being an IIT background, having an IIT background, and then sociology.
So, sir, sociology actually came as a very natural choice for me. At that time, I was looking at the list of optionals, and my own subject of graduation, computer science and engineering, was not in the list. I was not too much confident about mathematics as an optional. So I took sociology because of the fact that I did not have prior exposure to that subject, to any art subject for that matter. So sociology, I found it very appealing, and I would say that it is also useful for those who are wannabe administrators to understand the social milieu in which they will be operating. So it's a very practical subject, easy to understand. Lot of material is available for sociology, and the kind of knowledge you get from it, it's very interesting subject. You will be so on optional you have to bear that optional for like for my case, I beared it for 5 to 6 long years. You have to be that with that optional, so you have to be, that subject has to be of interest to you. I think sociology was a natural choice for me, and it's a good scoring subject also. Sociology, anthropology is also one subject that is scoring. But I think sociology is a good subject, and I would suggest to aspirants, recommend the aspirants to opt for it in case they are interested.
Yes, Shashank, many students are also thinking the same. It's very scoring and relatively easy and concise. But what was your actual experience when you started dealing with the subject?
So initially, every subject, sir, would be difficult, but I think sociology you can conquer. Why we can conquer? In my case, I was fortunate to have guidance of Civil 360, and Safis, sir, your good guidance helped me in that preparation. And the lot of the resources that are available, NCRT, I started from NCRTs, the basics, the notes, the kind of mentorship that you provided, the test series, and the focused feedback on those test papers, that helped me hone my answer writing skills both in GS as well as sociology. So I would say that for sociology, you need to have a concise list of thinkers. You need to focus on the syllabus. You need to focus on your resources and keep them to a limited extent and focus on answer writing. And that is where that answer writing feedback is very much crucial, which was provided to me by Civil 360 and Safir sir.
So, Shashank, how sociology paper one and paper two is different? Will you go for an integrated approach, or you consider this as Indian thinkers, Indian syllabus, and this is Western thinkers and Western syllabus, or do you use paper one knowledge also in paper two?
Sir. So it's a very important point, sir, you have raised. Of course, we have to do the interlinking, but initially, in the initial phase, interlinking will not come naturally. First, you have to study both the paper one and paper two completely. And then, while writing answers, you will understand slowly and gradually how to interlink those two aspects of it. And definitely, those who are able to interlink, those who are able to interlink paper one and paper two thinkers, those who are able to interlink static with current affairs. Current affairs knowledge is very much important, but even though you are in optional subject. So if you are interlinking both these things, if you are able to write various perspectives, because sociology teaches you a lot of perspective. There's functionalist, there's conflict perspective, feminist perspective, subaltern, postmodern, lot of perspectives. All these perspectives have to be integrated in your answer. You can't write a generalist GS answer in sociology, or for that matter, for any optional subject. So like that, you have to interlink and integrate things. Only then you can score well in sociology.
Shashank, you mentioned about all these perspective, and in fact, if you look at the question paper also, it will start like this: write a short note on sociological perspective. So, what exactly? Many students are not able to understand that. What exactly you mean by that, and how is it different from general understanding? If you can take any example, like for example, child labor, you study in sociology and in GS, poverty, women empowerment. So, can you take up any example and just if you can differentiate, that will be great help.
Okay. 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 So, for example, sir, as you talked about, one example is child labor. It's a very prominent example, and it is studied extensively in sociology. Now, when you study child labor, it may be some people may study it on a statistical basis, that child labor in so and so. So it is a definitional perspective that it is people below this particular year of wage are employed, and hence it is called as a child labor. That is a statistician perspective. From a sociologist perspective, how will you study sociology? We study a lot of different aspects of whether child labor is a gendered form of labor, whether it is a feminist, it is a child labor is feminized. A lot of girl child are involved in child labor, whether it is particular to a region, whether we are in backward region, we see a lot of child labor. So it will study from that perspective, developmental perspective. It from a conflict perspective, it will see that okay, the capitalist society has to in order to extract the maximum profit, the capitalist has is employing child labor. So that is one perspective. So there are multiple perspective in that particular thing, which is very different from a normal GS understanding. Normal GS understanding takes it as an issue that needs to be ameliorated using education and health. But then sociology studies the structures that are driving child labor. So caste may be one structure that is driving child labor. Global capitalism and globalization can be linked with child labor. So a lot of these perspectives are there.
Okay, cool. So, Shashank, again, do you have any go-to thinker? Like for some people, Durkheim for functionalism, and then for some people, it's a conflict perspective. And to be on a safer side, some will go with Weber. So, was there any such go-to thinker for which is suiting any question they ask? I'll definitely go with this, or multiple thinkers you will incorporate.
Yeah, I think one thing which is constant in sociology, you will get some functional perspective for everything. Even for child labor, for few people, it will be functionalist because child labor is providing the necessary labor to produce goods. That is a functionalist perspective. From a conflict perspective, also you can see. So functionalist and conflict perspective are constant in almost every answer. Even feminist perspective can be incorporated in these issues.
Okay. So, during your sociology preparation, you were completely associated with Civil 360 and me also. So, how that helped you in your preparation and scoring in sociology?
Sir, one thing we discussed just before that, the interlinking of topics and interlinking in while you are writing answers of paper one and paper two thinkers. I think that was the key area where I got benefit by joining Civil 360 mentorship program as well as the answer writing program. And that is where I want to suggest all the aspirants to get a good guidance on this, because when you are able, because these things don't come naturally while reading. You may be reading at your home, at your coachings, etc., but you have to link deliberately, and you have to focus that, like I mentioned, all these perspectives, right? This is child labor is known to all. Now, sometimes a question would come which may not be known to you, not be read by you. But even then, you can apply perspectives on that. different kind of perspective, and that comes only by practice. And I think that is where Civil 360 and sir played a great role in improving, honing my answer writing skills. Then the feedback, people are actually afraid of the feedback that you get from test series. I think you should not be afraid of that feedback. Many students tell me that we are getting less marks. I think that is the stepping stone. When you get less mark, you have to analyze, you work on that. Otherwise, that becomes difficult to correct in the examination directly itself. So that feedback I got was a razor sharp feedback that I got from Civil 360 IS. And Safed sir personally mentored us and mentored mentorship was based on the personalized style on how the person is lagging behind in a particular subject or a particular topic. So that is where I think, and writing sociological answers, as I said, is very different from writing GS type answers. And that will actually be a pain point when you write in paper two. A lot of GS questions come and then you are worried as to how to write such sociological answers in such GS type questions. That is where I think I felt myself as a good place, a comfortable place due to the mentorship provided by Civil 360.
Thank you, Shashank. And we discussed about thinkers, we discussed about perspective. One more factor that we are missing is about current affair. How you incorporate current affair in your answers in sociology?
So there are a lot of current affairs news that are going on, and people read it as a part of GS itself. But then when you read it as a part of GS itself, you have to be sure that it might come in the um, sociology paper as a sociological question. Let me take an example. The question was about unpaid care work and unpaid care work by women, and that is an ongoing debate. Based on the time use survey, there's a report that a lot of unpaid work is being done by women, which is not recognized as a part of GDP. And there are a lot of perspectives on that thing. Now, this is the current affairs news. You may not find it in a conventional sociology textbook or a notebook, but that may appear in the exam in a different form, asking about informal work. And it, because informal labor is already, informal economy is already a part of the syllabus, and this actually is an extension of that. So that is where current affairs and that sociological static knowledge comes in, and you have to prepare for such type of questions. And because that these things, do not come in very easily while you're writing it in the exam, you have to be prepared for that. I think that is where current affairs helps.
How important is answer writing? Because you have already mentioned about that, and you have written a lot of answers. So, what difference that regular answer writing and evaluation will make in your performance or in general also?
Answer writing is very much important, sir. First aspect of answer writing I would like to highlight is completing the paper. More than 50 to 60%, and I'm saying this very confident, that out of 10 to 12,000 people writing the mains examination, 50 to 60% will never complete the paper. And that is where the clear edge comes. That when you are completing the paper in time, even though you may be writing average answers, that gives you an edge, first of all. Then those who are among those who are completing the paper, whether you are writing good quality answers. Now, good quality answer will have three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. You have to address all the three parts of it, whether in GS, whether in optional, like that. Now, in optional subjects, we talk specifically about sociology. You have to have thinkers in it. You have to have multiple perspective in it. That, like we said, you have to have interlinkages. You have to have current affairs incorporation. So all these things don't come naturally. You have to do it by an answer writing, particular answer writing test series, or some kind of answer writing guidance. And when you write these things, initially you will be bad at writing, but then based on the feedback you get from the relevant tutor, you will definitely improve upon if you incorporate that feedback in your answer. And that is the answer writing comes in. So first of all, you need to be thorough with the sources, thorough with all your reading stuff, and then you jump onto answer writing with a proper guidance and mentor. For me, it was Civil 360 IS, and I'm thankful for that.
Now, Shashank, before we conclude, if someone starting UPSC preparation today, what would be your three pieces of advice from your experience of 5 years and cracking this exam two times?
I would say that first is hard work is non-negotiable in this exam. If someone is saying that, okay, I'll use an AI app and that AI app will be used to gauge your score and gauge your answer writing, I think that's very difficult. You have to pick up a pen and paper and write. That is the only solution to it. You may use AI for your guidance part of it or your analysis, but it's not sufficient. You have to write pen and paper, get it evaluated from a real evaluator, from a answer writing guidance program, answer writing test series. Then only you will get some this thing. So hard work is non-negotiable. Discipline is very much required. People drop in between the process. People became complacent. All these things are very natural. But then you have to pitch in with discipline. Then third is timeliness. Timeliness in your routine, timeliness in your answer writing. For example, you are doing a prelims test. A prelims is a 2-hour GS paper. So when you are doing a 2-hour GS paper, you can't sit in your home and do that very same paper in 5 hours and then say I complete the prelims paper. You have to be timely. So everything you have to do, the preparation you are doing, answer writing, you are reading about, you have to make sure that you have to write it within time limit. Only then you will be able to replicate it in the exam. Otherwise, not. So timeliness is very much important. I think these three: hard work, discipline, timeliness, these will help you throughout. And even now I'm in service, so even in service, these things help.
Now, for students who are preparing with sociology as the optional, what would you tell them? Will you recommend our classes and mentorship to them?
Of course, as I said, sir, uh, it was Civil 360 IS who played a pivotal role in my sociology preparation, be it through the mentorship program they offered, the personal feedback provided by your good self, sir, the kind of feedback I got from the answer writing sessions as well as the answer writing test series. I think that itself, and then when my score, if at all, it is in the good category, speaks for itself that the Civil 60 IS has played a pivotal role, and I would highly recommend it for especially for sociology optional guidance.
My last question. So there are many students who are struggling either to clear the prelims or to clear the mains or cleared mains, but final stage they are not able to get through. And you are someone who gone through all these first attempt, fourth attempt, and all. So what you want to tell them?
For those who are still in
For
the
those who are
process,
struggling in different stages and still not able to get through that final level.
I would say, sir, I would advise actually the students. Now I am in service, so I would like to advise the students to be very realistic of the scenario. I would motivate them to continue their preparation. Definitely, they should not leave in between, but then also be realistic. After 5 attempts, 6 attempts, I think it becomes really hard on yourself, hard on your family, hard on your career as well. So you have to take a realistic decision to continue or not. But then it's a very rewarding process, as I said. And once you clear, it is the most satisfying moment of your life. I would suggest that the student should always, if they are in the process, they should be committed, disciplined, but you should be realistic about the preparation and don't fool anyone. If you are fooling anyone, that means you are fooling yourself in this process. You have to be confident but not be overconfident. Take a realistic assessment and continue your preparation. If at all you feel that you are lacking somewhere, then you may seek some guidance from your mentors, from your gurus, from your parents, maybe your siblings, fellow aspirants. All this ecosystem you have to build that will help you cross this river of UPSC.
Thank you, Shashank. All the best.
Thank you, sir.